What is going on, Mystery Tackle Box YouTube channel? My name is Bill Matthews from the BassinBill96 YouTube channel, and today MTB has let me take over the channel to bring you guys an MTB slam right here. So we have the MTB Pro box on deck. We are about to crack this open, see what we got inside. I'm gonna break down some of these baits for you guys, and we're gonna try to catch a bass in every single bait in this box. So stick around, stay tuned. Let's get to it, guys. So we're gonna crack this open, see what we got inside. First things first, right on top there, we have the Googan 𝗙𝗶𝗹𝗶𝗹. I have been absolutely destroying bass on this thing. Actually, we already have one tied up right here, so I'm probably just gonna use the one I have. You guys can see how many bass I've caught in this thing. It's actually insane. So that's the first bait we have in the MTB box. We're definitely gonna catch one on that right there. Next thing we have in here, we have some Headbanger rocker heads. Seen a lot about these, have not had a chance to get my hands on them yet, but basically a traditional style wobble head. We're gonna straight cast and reel this thing in, but it has that nice little cup to give you a little bit extra action. And we're gonna pair that up with that Gambler Mega Daddy that we also have in here. So that is 3 baits in the box. We have a couple more though. We have the Lake Fork Trophy Lures. Basically just a Senko style bait, gonna be really easy. Probably gonna put this on a little wacky worm hook and toss this thing right up underneath the dock. And then we have the Bill Lewis MR6 Mark Daniels Jr. exclusive crankbait. Gonna be an awesome little crankbait to throw around grass lines, stuff like that in this lake. There's a ton of fish that feed on bait fish, so this should be no problem whatsoever. And then last but not least, we have another 2-for-1 we're gonna do. We have the Lifted Jigs Swim Jig, and we're gonna pair that up with the brand new Yoda Worm by 10,000 Fish. So that's all the baits we have in the box. We are trying to catch 5 bass. We have 7 baits, but we're pairing a few of them up. So 5 bass in the boat to complete this slam, and let's go get to it, guys. So we are rolling up to the first spot of the day. We're gonna start back in this wind-blown pocket with that Googan 𝗙𝗶𝗹𝗶𝗹, which, like I said, I already have one tied on. I've caught like 50 or 60 bass on this thing. It's already bass approved, so we're just gonna roll with this one and try to get the first one knocked out of the day. Lots of really good vegetation back in here, and like I said, there is some wind that is pushing the bait fish to the very back of this pocket, so the bass should be loaded up back in here. Got one, literally second cast of the day on that Googan 𝗙𝗶𝗹𝗶𝗹. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Oh, and she got off. Literally the first freaking fish we hooked, we popped her off. That is not gonna count for the slam, boys. We gotta land these bass. That was a decent one too. Nice like 14, 15 incher, nothing too crazy, but she smoked the frog. That is a very good sign though. Legit, like my second cast, got it right in this open little pocket right there, and she crushed it. We're gonna catch some more. You know, I'm really not even mad because now I get to get at least one more blow up on the frog, so I cannot complain too much. Oh my gosh, did you guys see all that? We just spooked something big up on the shore. Well, we got that one, like our second cast, and we have not got another blow up since then, but we are still plugging and chugging. We're gonna finish the rest of this cove out, and if we do not get one on the frog, we're gonna go to another spot. But I have confidence that we are gonna get one in this spot before we have to move on to the next area. Got him underneath that pontoon boat. Yes, sir, it's a freaking good one too. On that Googan 𝗙𝗶𝗹𝗶𝗹. That's what I'm talking about, boys and girls. I told you we were gonna get one before we left this little pocket here. Nice, solid chunk on that Googan 𝗙𝗶𝗹𝗶𝗹 right there. But we are gonna move on to bait number 2 now. Get this fish back in the water. Awesome fish. That was a sweet freaking blow up, guys. My goodness. There she goes. All right, on to bait number 2. I don't even know what we're gonna use yet. Let me just check out that box again. So we have got the box out. I think that the next thing that we're gonna throw is that Lifted Jig Swim Jig paired up with that brand new Yoda Worm by 10,000 Fish. So let me get this tied up, ready to go, and we're gonna try to catch bass number 2 for y'all. These things are looking freaking choice. This is gonna be an awesome little bluegill imitator too. Coloration that we have for this Yoda Worm paired up with this little Lifted Jig Swim Jig right here. So just to make this a little bit more compact for that swim jig, we're gonna cut like about an inch off of there, and then all we're gonna do is we're gonna take this little Yoda Worm and we are gonna slide it up the shank of that swim jig hook right there. Awesome little swim jig trailer. That thing's gonna be going absolutely crazy. But let's tie this on, and we're gonna get 2 baits knocked out in one for our second fish right here. Okay, Lifted Jigs Yoda Worm, we are ready to go. Let's go get fish number 2. Got him on that Lifted Jigs Swim Jig with the Yoda Worm. It's a decent one again too. Okay, I mean, we're not going to be catching giants, guys. This lake is not known for massive bass, but solid little pounder right there. She has that Yoda worm and that lifted jigs right in the roof of the mouth. Good little 12-incher going back in the water. Bait number 2 and 3 are knocked out, and we're gonna jump on to the next bait, which I think we're just gonna keep rolling with this same type of deal here. And we're gonna go with that Gambler Mega Daddy on that Headbanger. We're just gonna stay on this little grass flat right here, try to knock this bait out before we move on and do anything else. But like I said, this thing's basically just gonna be a cast and reel type of deal as well, and should work really good around all this emergent vegetation that we're on right now. So let me just pull this out. Gambler Mega Daddy, big old flapping craw right there. Holy smokes, that is a mouthful. We're probably gonna trim that down as well. Let me just see how far we can go. We're gonna trim this down just a little bit. This would also be a really good big jig trailer too. If you guys were going for some big mamas offshore, throwing like a 1/2 ounce to 1 ounce jig, this would be absolutely ideal for that. But it's also gonna have these big flapping craws on this little Headbanger jig right here as well. So it doubles down as a moving bait or a big old jig trailer. This is gonna be absolutely killer right here. So taking that lifted jig, swim jig off with that Yoda worm trailer, and we are moving on to this Headbanger, which is going to be lure number 4 and 5. Then all we have left is the crankbait and the 𝗙cie worm by Lake Fork Lures. But we are ready to go with that Mega Daddy craw by Gambler Lures and that little Headbanger jigs there. Gonna just fish this grass flat. Like I said, should be a lot more fish out here. Got him on the Mega Daddy craw. She freaking clocked it right there. That was like my 3rd cast with this thing. This grass flat has got him on it. I think I took a couple casts with that swim jig. Oh, he's in the boat. He's in the boat, boys. We got him. He was barely hooked. Okay, there we go. Another like little 10, 12-incher, nothing too crazy, but she munched down on that giant old Mega Daddy flapping craw on like my 3rd cast. There we go, going back in the water, but I legit fished this grass flat for about 3 minutes. I caught that swim jig fish and this Mega Daddy craw and this Headbanger fish almost instantly. So we have got lure number 4 and 5 knocked out. We are on to the last 2 lures. I think I'm gonna go with the crankbait next just because I am not a huge fan of crankbait, so I wanna knock that one out. I know that I could skip that 𝗙cie worm pretty much anywhere and catch one. So if you guys watch my channel, you know I almost never throw crankbaits. It's not knocking crankbaits. I know so many people that catch them really, really well on crankbaits, but I just like throwing jigs and frogs. It's just kind of my deal. So do not get a chance to throw a lot of crankbaits, but this one looks pretty sweet. Big fan of MDJ, so we're gonna try out his crankbait, try to get fish number, well, I guess it's gonna be fish number 4 and it's gonna be bait number 6 knocked out. So that's what we're going for right now. Gonna tie this up and get to it. We are down to the freaking wire here. Only need to catch a few more fish to knock out this slam. So we are ready to go with that Bill Lewis crankbait. All we did is we pulled out a little bit deeper off of this edge of this flat, and there's a lot of grass out here as well. So this crankbait dives 5 to 6 feet. We're just gonna run it right through that grass. If we feel some, we're gonna rip it out and hopefully pop a bass here really quick. Seems like they are digging these moving baits a lot, so we should knock this out fairly quickly. I think that a lot of these fish are chasing around bait fish right now, so that makes sense. There we go, there we go. Oh, I think it's a good one, guys. It's a freaking nice one on that Bill Lewis crankbait. Come on, baby. She crushed it right off that weed line. She's barely hooked. That's a decent fish. Oh my gosh, she's barely hooked. She's barely hooked. Come on. Oh my goodness. She has one treble hook in her mouth. I'm afraid to boat flip this thing. We're gonna net her. Come here. Oh yeah. Nice, solid chunk right there. I know you guys are probably thinking I'm crazy for netting these like little 1.5 pound fish, but she barely had that crankbait, one little treble hook, and it's actually hooked outside of the mouth somehow. I really don't know how that happened. But right there, solid like 14.5-incher. This is actually a lake that I fish tournaments on, and usually if you catch a limited bass, you're gonna be in the money. So a fish like this is like gold out here. So nice, decent one, going back in the water. We are down to the very last bait of the day. Got this Bill Lewis, Mark Daniels Jr. crankbait knocked out. I told you guys I wasn't a huge fan of crankbaits, but honestly, if they crush it like that, I'll throw this thing a little bit more often. That was freaking sweet. Crankbait bites are really fun. I just don't get on them too often here. It's pretty much all grass by me, so not a lot of riprap to crank or anything like that. But we are down to the very last bait in the mystery tackle box. We have these Lake Fork lures, basically like their version of a Senko. Awesome little 𝗙cie worm style bait. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna toss this on a spinning rod right here. I've got one rigged up already because the 𝗙cie worm is an absolute staple in anyone's bass boat. So we're just gonna take that Senko off, put this little Lake Fork Trophy Lures bait on, and we're gonna go skip some docks. Okay, there we go. MTB slam is complete. We just caught one. Check that out. We called it. We freaking called it. That easy. What was that? 3 docks right there. Got the MTB slam knocked out with that fish right there. Long and skinny one. Caught some decent like little 12 to 15 inches today. Nothing too crazy, but we have got a bass in every single bait right there with that Lake Fork Trophy Lures fish. Literally fished this thing for like 3 minutes. I think that like 3 of the baits we knocked out within the first like 3 or 4 casts. Super crazy. Took a while on a few of them, but not too bad. Going back in the lake right there. We are back at the house. The MTB slam has been completed, and honestly, that was one of the fastest mystery tackle box slams that I've ever done in my entire life. It for sure would have been the fastest if we would have landed that first fish on the frog, like my second cast, but it took like 20 or 30 minutes for the frog, and then every other bait took like 3 minutes a piece, like 3-4 casts, and we had them in the boat. So really fun day in the water. If you guys want to check out Mystery Tackle Box, you guys can get your first box for $9.99. All that info is going to be down in the description below, but thank you to MTB for letting me take over the channel, and thank you guys for watching today's video. I will catch you guys in the next one.